Hello and welcome to the Best and Worst Pictures podcast. I'm your host Jake, and with me, as always, my good co-host Ian. That really threw me off for a second. And joining us as per usual, my other, I think he's a pretty good co-host. Joaquin, how you doing?
Damn, I wanted to also do that same bit.
Didn't quite
Got him.
line up.
Line
I
up.
speed run the intro, so
Yeah.
that's fair. What is this show, you might ask? Well, every other week we sit down and watch a Best Picture winner, and we determine one of the best or worst pictures compared to the other winners. And this week we're talking about the
30-second?
32nd Best Picture winner ever, which is, of course, none other than the hit cinematic classic known as Ben-Hur.
It's either 32nd or 33rd. So
No,
how
it's
the thing are you
32nd.
saying 33rd?
It's 32nd.
Okay.
32nd. 32nd. 33rd.
Which Ian has collected some fun facts.
To start us off, Ian has collected some fun facts about the film, which Joaquin and I have not heard at a time. So, Ian, take it away.
Take it away. All
Take it
right.
away.
This one is Ben-Hur, distributed by MGM. That's going to be very important. Remember that. Rotten Tomatoes score of Ben-Hur is 86%. Metacritic, 90. It released on November 18th, 1959. It is 212 minutes long, according to Wikipedia, but we have a cut that's longer. I think that might be taking out some of the overtures and the intermission and some credits, because this movie is 3.5 hours long. Budget was $15.2 million, and it made $146.9 million. That's a big, big number, especially for 1959. This is a remake of the 1925 silent film, which was adapted from the Lew Wallace novel Ben-Hur, A Tale of Christ. I know you guys watched Bridge on the River Kwai with me.
Yep.
Jack Hawkins, which was Gideon, which was the U.S. Army guy who got his foot hurt, is in this movie. I don't want to go into Charlton Heston immediately. So Martha Scott is Miriam. We may also know her from films like The Ten Commandments, which was 1956, Sayonara, 1957, and Charlotte's Web for 1973. Finley Curry is Balthazar. What a bitchin' name.
Yes.
He was in Ivanhoe, 1952. Around the World in 80 Days, another recurring guy that we didn't talk about. He was one of the club members. He also has an uncredited role in Academy Award nominated, not winning film Cleopatra. Charlton Heston, which we all may know, he's Judah Ben-Hur. This is where all of the interesting stuff happens, because he's in Julius Caesar, 1950 and 1970, both as Mark Antony. He's in The Greatest Show on Earth, 1952, Ten Commandments, 1956. Both of the first two Planet of the Apes movies, 1968 and 1969. He's also in the 2001 shitty Mark Wahlberg reboot. Soylent Green, 1973. And he's in an animated Ben-Hur film from 2003 as Judah Ben-Hur. I have more fun facts about him, because we actually don't get to talk about him again, I'm fairly certain.
Oh, okay.
Which sucks. It sucks we don't get to talk about him more. But in the 50s and 60s, he was one of the handfuls of Hollywood actors to speak openly against racism, and was at the March on Washington in 1963.
Let's go, Heston.
Nice.
He was also a 5-time president of the NRA.
Let's not go, Heston.
Yeah, later on in his life, he had some takes
Really?
that were not as great.
So he started off as like the
He's
opposite of
like huge activist.
that. Okay.
And this movie was directed by, drumroll, William Wyler, who we've talked about multiple times. Has Best Director nominations for Dodsworth, Wuthering Heights, The Letter, The Little Foxes, Miss Miniver, Best Years of Our Lives, The Heiress, Detective Story, Roman Holiday, Friendly Persuasion, Ben-Hur, The Collector. That's a lot of Best Director nominations.
Yes, it
He
is.
won for Miss Miniver, which also won Best Picture.
Yep.
Best Years of Our Lives, which also won Best Picture.
Yep.
And Ben-Hur, which also won Best Picture, which is why we're watching it.
Yep, that makes sense.
Another fun note about William Wyler, Laurence Olivier, who I think we all know as, like, he's heralded as one of the best actors of all time from this time period.
Sure. Yep.
He got his first Oscar nomination for Wuthering Heights under Wyler. He credited William Wyler with teaching him how to act on screen.
Wow.
Fun note, he fought a lot with Wyler on multiple occasions, like verbally. Like, they didn't really see eye to eye. But Olivier credits him with his acting prowess. Laurence Olivier has tied the record for most actor nominations and Best Actor at 9.
Wow. Holy shit.
Wyler is stacked.
Wyler's stacked.
He has some big films. He's heralded as one of the best directors in this era. We've talked about him twice already, obviously. And we get to at least briefly mention him in 1965 because he got nominated for Best Director. And I don't know if that film got nominated for Best Picture or not, but we'll get there. Remember how I said this film was MGM, and that's important?
Yep.
Wyler and star Charlton Heston both knew the film meant a lot for MGM, which had a lot of investment in this. The budget for the film went from 7 million to 15 million, and MGM was in like almost bankruptcy at this point.
Okay.
MGM, if this movie failed, would have gone bankrupt.
Wow.
And they doubled the budget for this movie from 7 to 15.
Are you going to mention that they sold themselves to Amazon in recent years because of bankruptcy?
So they didn't go bankrupt now.
just check.
In this time period.
Okay.
And Heston got asked like what he enjoyed doing the most. He went, I didn't enjoy any of it. It was hard work.
Wow.
Because of the financial stress that was placed on the film. It had a cast of over 15,000 extras,
Holy
including
shit.
200 camels and 2,500 horses. The leading star being Charlton Heston, and it was shot on 70mm film with stereophonic tracks. It was the most expensive film ever made at this time
Oh,
period.
fuck yeah. We're going to get like super duper film.
The 9-minute chariot race, which is the most famous sequence in this scene, took 6 months to film that 9 minutes.
I want to point out that to add to that, Christopher Nolan will only shoot, and it's IMAX, but he shoots on 70mm for everything.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So Kirk Douglas lobbied William Wyler, who directed him in a different movie, The Detective Story, for the title role, but only after Wyler already decided on Charlton Heston.
Okay.
And then William Wyler went, well, you can be a different guy. And Kirk Douglas went, no, I want to be Judah Ben-Hur.
Yep.
So he declined. There was a notable change in the movie. The lion in this film at the opening credit scene, Leo the lion, which is the MGM mascot, would create the wrong mood for the opening scene. So Wyler received permission to change the traditional MGM logo to one where the lion's quieter.
Huh.
So we're going to hear that. And that's really fucking
That's
cool.
really interesting.
We're going to hear the loud
actually.
version?
And we're going to hear the quiet version.
Oh. Okay.
So I have even more fun facts about this movie because this movie went through fucking hell. This movie was started production in 1953. Came out in 1959. By 1958, it was reported that were 12 different drafts of the film, all by different writers.
Oh my God.
Other actors approached for the main role included Burt Lancaster, who turned the role down because he thought the script was boring. Marlon Brando, and Leslie Nielsen.
Oh my God. The comedy guy.
Yeah.
This is before he did comedy, though.
Yeah.
He only started doing comedy after Airplane.
William Wyler had to pursue Jack Hawkins and persuade him to appear in the film. Jack Hawkins is the military guy from Bridge on the River Kwai. Hawkins was so unwilling to act in another epic motion picture after Bridge on the River Kwai. Wyler had to like hound him
Yep.
to get him to be in the movie. And Ben-Hur's production utilized 300 sets scattered across 148 acres and 9 different sound stages.
Okay.
Several sets are still standing from Quo Vadis in 1951 and were refurbished from 1951 to be used for Ben-Hur.
Okay.
So they took a bunch of sets that were already there and ended up doing stuff with it after refurbishing them. By the end of the production, they used over 1 million pounds of plaster and 40,000 cubic feet of lumber. The budget called for over 100,000 costumes, 1,000 suits of armor, 10,000 plus extras, procurement of hundreds of sheep, camels, donkeys, horses, you name it.
Jesus
They have
Christ.
so much stuff. The chariot scene alone cost over $1 million to make
Yep, that makes sense.
and required more than 200 miles of racing to complete.
And that's $1 million in 1959 money.
So after filming that scene right there, they had to do a bunch of close-up shots. They hired 7,000 extras just to cheer in the stands for that scene alone out of the 15,000. I already mentioned the 70mm lenses, but the 70mm lenses have a minimum focusing distance of 50 feet. So the camera that got mounted for the chariot race was put on a car so the camera crew could keep in front and get like shots.
Sure.
The horses accelerated straight faster than the car could, so they only got like maybe 5 to 10 seconds to get their shots. So they had to buy an American car that would go faster, but the horses were even faster still than
Oh
the
my-
American car, even though the car had a head start.
That's so funny.
So they only had few seconds of shot at a time. That's why it took so long. The ratio of footage shot to footage used was 263-1.
Whoa!
I feel like the solution for the horse thing is not to get faster cars, but to get slower horses.
Yeah, but then they won't look as awesome.
Sure.
I'm sure these horses look spectacular.
We'll find out, you know.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about more stunt stuff now. One of the most notable moments in the entire race comes with the near-fatal accident where one of the stuntmen, Joe Knut, was tossed into the air. Like, by accident.
Christ.
And they wanted to keep that shot. Martin actually convinced the idea, showing that he was able to land on the front and cling to it, and then scramble back while the horses kept going was really cool, so they fucking kept it.
That's amazing. I love that shit.
The shot ended up being spliced together with a close-up of him going, like, climbing back up and stuff. I'll point it out when we watch. But Boyd did all of his own stunts. One of the other dudes in there did all of his own stunts. There's a scene where one of the characters gets dragged underneath and he gets trampled. Boyd wore steel armor underneath his costume so he could start that before they put a dummy underneath for the actual trampled part.
Yep.
Leads us to the awards. 12 nominations. 11 wins. Best Picture, Ben-Hur, beating out Anatomy of Murder, The Diary of Anne Frank, The Nun's Story, and Room at the Top. Best Director, William Wyler. He beat George Stevens for The Diary of Anne Frank, Fred Zinnerman for The Nun's Story, Jack Clayton for The Room at the Top, and Billy Wilder for Some Like It Hot. Remember that. We're going to talk about Billy Wilder pretty fucking soon. Best Actor, Charlton Heston, Ben-Hur. Best Supporting, Hugh Griffith as Sheik Ilderim. Best Adapted Screenplay, it lost. Room at the Top won Best Adapted Screenplay. It beat Anatomy of a Murder, Ben-Hur, The Nun's Story, and Some Like It Hot. It won Best Score for a Drama/Comedy. It won Best Sound, Best Art Direction, Color, Best Cinematography, Color. It won Best Costume Design, Color. It won Best Editing, Best Special Effects, beating out the only other movie, Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Wow.
We have a couple of fun award night notes, and then we're going to wrap up. Finally, this is almost as long as the movie. Ben-Hur won 11 Oscars, breaking the record of 9, set the year before by Gigi.
I remember that. Yep.
Which we just watched.
Yep.
Ben-Hur remained the most honored motion picture until Titanic equaled it in 1997, and then Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, won more in 2003.
Oh, no, they equaled it too. It also won 11. It got more nominations, though.
Equal? Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
It says followed by. Yeah. Ben-Hur was the third film to ever win Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor, a feat not repeated until 2003 for the film Mystic River.
Okay.
William Wyler became the third and most recent person to win more than 2 Best Director awards.
In his life? Wow.
No one's done it since this.
Spielberg?
Win 3.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
It's William Wyler, Frank Capra, John Ford. He did Miss Miniver, Best Years of Our Lives, and Ben-Hur.
Maybe West Side Story.
He's going to get in there, man.
And
it already won, so.
That's all my fun award night notes.
Okay.
We only have one more thing. It's the Mary Pickford fact.
Woo!
Which, on October 12th, 1949, the premiere of Love Happy, starring the Marx Brothers, was the final film ever produced by Mary Pickford.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, before we kick this ball rolling,
Yeah, if
here,
I missed a fun fact, please.
no, it's more like a fun little interesting tidbit. It's technically a fact. So there you go. I have the best pictures sorted by runtime here. Ben-Hur is in the top 5. Do you want to guess where it places?
3.
Third longest? Joquin?
4th.
4th? Ian has it on the money. It's 3rd. Can you guess the other 4?
Gone with the Wind.
That's number 1.
Titanic?
That's no, but it's on here. Not on the top 5.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Lawrence of Arabia?
Number 2.
And then Bridge on the River Kwai is long, but it's not that long.
Not that long.
Dances with Wolves?
That is top 10, not top 5.
I know it's long.
It is long as ass.
Have we seen it?
We've not seen these other 2. I mean, personally, I've seen both of them. But no.
Gladiator.
No, not Gladiator.
Gladiator's long.
I'll give it away because I don't want to spend too much time on here. The 4th one is Godfather Part 2.
Yeah.
3 hours and 22 minutes.
Yep.
The 5th one, rather.
Godfather.
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. 3 hours and 21, as opposed to the extended, which is 4 hours, which would win the whole list.
Wow. So we have some fun facts. Guys, I'm just going to say, going into this one, I think Bridge on the River Kwai might be short-lived. This one's prepped to be a super heat banger.
This one looks so good.
From everything I have seen and everything I've heard about this movie, it seems to have a bigger is better kind of attitude. So I'm excited for that. Quick question.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Ben-Hur, not a reboot,
Yes,
obviously,
remake.
but
They remade it.
They did.
2016?
Ish. Yep.
and
right
wasn't
around
it really bad?
there. It
Yes.
bad reviews, and I think it bombed pretty bad because it cost
Here.
a lot of money.
Yeah, I got it right on the money. 2016.
Wow.
Jack Huston, Morgan Freeman, Toby Kebbell. Those are the only people of note that I see immediately.
Fantastic.
Marwan Khanzari of 2017's The Mummy fame.
Oh, not him. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I hate Marwan Khanzari.
Rotten Tomato score?
Oh, that's fun.
Marwan Khanzari is the one who's that dude in The Mummy, and then also Jafar in the live-action Aladdin.
25%.
Yep. And then the box office, what you got? 'Cause
Um,
I'm sure it's great.
Budget and let's play budget and box office.
Let's play budget box
All right,
office. Go.
I'm playing. All right. So 200 million, easy.
Nope.
No.
Joker?
Oh, we're talking budget right now?
Budget.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
100. This is my second guess.
85.
It's 100 on the money.
Ooh, I should have gone second.
Box office.
All right. I'm gonna go 50 million bucks.
No, that
Am I too high or too low?
I think you're too high.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, you're too low. You're too low.
Oh, okay.
I'll go 120.
94.
Ooh.
94 million.
All right.
It's really
That's
bad.
tough.
It's really bad.
It's so tough.
bad.
Guys, but I'm pumped for this one. And I get to watch a Charlton Heston movie. He's one of my favorites.
Let's go. So we just watched Ben-Hur, the cinematic event. What do you guys feel?
Oh, I really enjoyed it.
I had a great,
Yeah.
fantastic time.
I think it's good.
Whoa, dissenting opinion, baby. All right, yeah, no, I had a fantastic time. Who wants to
so-
start with like what they want to talk about first?
We should start with the dislikes because I feel like they're going to be smaller. I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah,
All right, fair.
Brown face.
Yeah, blackface is a problem.
that's a
I
problem.
don't like that.
It is not widely used throughout the film.
It's only
no,
one
but he
character.
won Best Supporting
it's
Actor
three
for it.
characters. I
He
think I
did
counted 3 black faces.
He did
Either
win.
that or they were just very convincing on the rest of them.
Right. He did win Best Supporting for it. Honestly, his acting was top tier.
Yeah, he was really good at acting, but
But
I don't know how he won Best Supporting though. He's barely in
he
the
is
movie.
barely in the movie.
He's
I
barely in it.
think Masala should get Best Supporting of anything.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, I agree completely. He was-
Absolutely.
he was a substantial character.
Was Masala nominated or Masala's
Probably.
acted?
Statistically, probably. Given the Oscars that got nominated
That's
for.
fair.
But yeah. No, dude, this is a nuts movie. I'm so excited to talk
Yeah.
about it. Finally, we're
Oh,
here.
I know this is not totally off topic, but we have we Googled Ben-Hur on Google Images, and
Yep.
I see one of the images is titled "Ben-Hur faces $130 million loss." I'm like, how?
That
This
was
movie's great.
2016's Ben-Hur that's
No,
coming up.
this movie saved MGM from bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they'd ever go bankrupt again.
Yeah.
More like Amazon. But no, this movie is amazing. And all right,
Yeah.
back to negatives.
There is one bad cut.
There is one bad cut. It's where they're just standing there and they had to cut away from it for no reason.
Yep.
Aside from that, I'm gonna say it. I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got some stuff.
All right,
Okay,
here we go.
You're wrong.
it's one real big thing for me.
Okay.
It's the liar revealed story, and it's basically the idea of you could have prevented something from happening by just like telling the truth at the beginning, but because you didn't, now we have to do this like whole other side event. The Chariot race is spawned because Ben-Hur's love interest, which I can't remember the name of right now, Esther, lies and says your parents, your mom and your sister, they're both dead, even though she knew. I understand that in the context of the story, the mom and the sister said, please don't tell Ben-Hur, let him remember us as we were, like, so he's happier that way. But he's not happier that way. You see how miserable he is. So it would have been better. Obviously, okay, we wouldn't have gotten the Chariot race out of it, but the Chariot race kind of is leaving a sour taste in my mouth because of that, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
You could have prevented a chunk of the movie from happening, and yes, it's a good chunk of the movie, but the fact that it happens like that at all, I think it's funny to say that it's like lazy screenwriting, but yes, it's kind of lazy.
I don't think it's lazy at all.
I think it is.
I really don't.
I think it's a
Because-
problem that
Okay.
they wrote into the story that shouldn't have been there.
All right, can I before
You
Ian
could have
goes,
had the chariot race anyway, saying they're alive, but they have leprosy.
I feel like I
And
have
then
to-
he could have been like, "Oh, I want Masala like gone. I want him dead."
Sure, there are
Spoilers,
alternate,
by the way,
there are
you know.
alternate versions of them. Oh yeah, we're gonna get super into spoilers if that wasn't clear enough. But no, I don't feel like the liar reveal storyline, that convention of storytelling, is inherently a bad thing in movies. I don't see that and go, oh, therefore it's bad. I think it's the way it's done, and I really enjoy the way it's done because they clearly explained why it was happening and what purpose it served in the story. Not just the chariot race existing, which I'm glad it exists, but also what it means for the Ben-Hur character when he discovers it, but then also has to go along with it and be like, I can't, for a certain period of time, like I can't, like maybe she is right, maybe I shouldn't reveal myself. And he ends up, I think he reveals himself to just one of them or something like that. Or no, they both go along with him to see Jesus or something. It's
Yeah,
a
but he
weird-
only reveals himself to his mother because Tirza is sick.
Right, exactly. So yeah, no, I understand exactly why all the characters did what they did, and I don't really have a contention with it because given that situation, if like the mother/sister of the guy you're interested in says, hey, it is my wish of the family to please not do this to preserve the memory. I mean, I do want to say, like, I've been in, it's weird to say, but like in positions in my life where like a family member of mine will say, hey, do not tell this person this because it will do more damage than it wouldn't if that wouldn't happen. So like
Telling is not the same thing as like directly lying. That's another thing.
But if it's a severe enough situation,
Lie. No, because she could have just kept her mouth shut.
but that wouldn't have been honoring what they said because clearly Ben-Hur was going to be like, where the fuck are my parents or whatever.
And then he would have just gone to Masala, and Masala would have been like, "Oh yeah, they're fucking been sent off. They had leprosy,
yeah.
idiot."
So in order to preserve what they said, the only way to do that was to tell Ben-Hur that they were dead. Otherwise, he would have gone there and stuff like that.
No, he could. It would have just fucking nothing would have happened. He would have looked for Masala anyways to like
But
get
you
answers.
just said he would have found them and they would have leprosy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he would have gone to Masala anyways to get answers, and that's basically what ends up happening. And he's not Esther is not punished for lying to Ben-Hur.
Because I don't think she was in the wrong for doing it if she's honoring the wishes of the family of Ben-Hur.
And the wishes are stupid.
It doesn't matter if they're fucking dumb as hell. They're still the wishes of the family.
The wishes.
And I think it's a reasonable wish too. I don't think it's dumb.
I think
'cause
it's
people
dumb.
will ask.
It's one thing if the mother said, "Tell Ben-Hur I'm alive," and then she went, "Hoo hoo hoo,
What's
I'm gonna
the
fly."
one thing Ben-Hur wanted? To see his mom and sister again.
Mm-hmm. And
But
because
they didn't want him to see them
I
like that.
understand that. However, does that make them right
it
to keep
But it
keep
doesn't
their
make Esther
son?
wrong.
it doesn't. Yeah, that's my point. Like, I don't think we should blame the love interest for honoring the wishes of somebody who directly
The
said,
love
"Hey."
interest could have just said nothing, but she went out of her way, and she knows she messed up, so now she had to cover her tracks with a lie, because Ben-Hur was like, "I'll find them."
The love interest said, "Hey, they're dead," which is exactly what the parents
Yes,
said.
but only after she went back to the room that had Ben-Hur and her father in it, and was like, Ben-Hur was like, "I'm gonna find them," and then she was like, "No, I know where they are. They're dead." You didn't need to say that at all.
Look, the point is she honored their wishes, and I don't blame her for doing that because it's not her decision to be made. You know, she could have chosen to dishonor them, and if anything, that would probably be a little more immoral. But yeah, I don't mind the story.
They get dishonored anyways.
My point is she didn't do anything wrong in the context of the movie, so I don't think there's any point in vilifying her when she's just following suit.
There's a 6.5 minute overture and a 15-minute intermission in this very long movie.
Yep. This conversation is the overture because I'm pretty sure it's like the only real big negative. Unless, Joe Quinn, you have a litany more of issues with Ben-Hur.
Oh boy, do I.
It's too good.
Scrambling through his notes.
I got nothing.
Well, can I just say I'm really glad we got that out of the way at the start because I'm pretty sure this whole show is just compliments.
It's a big issue I have with the movie. That being said, it's pretty much the only issue I have with the movie.
I'm gonna
Aside from like the blackface.
Yeah, fair.
Oh
fair.
man, there's blackface.
It's a movie in the 50s. What are you gonna do?
Not put blackface in it.
Not put blackface in it is
Fair.
a very fair point.
That is the
Other
correct
movies
answer.
in the 50s, they don't have blackface.
That is true.
You could have just hired people.
And also, given the amount of actually black people in Ben-Hur, I'm surprised that like they just blackfaced one dude
They
and
also-
he got nominated.
They also made like them all white.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it was a
the
little
characters that shouldn't be.
weird. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the Romans should be.
Jesus' body was clearly white, but it's here nor there. But whatever.
My
But yeah,
thing,
no.
my thing about the tropes before we move on
I don't think it's a trope. I think it's
is no, it's definitely a trope, but
It's definitely true.
not all tropes are inherently bad just because they're tropes. They are bad because of how they're
Sure.
used.
Sure, and I can agree with that. However, I don't know of an example of a good one.
I would call this a good one. Ian, any negatives?
I already said blackface,
All right, bet. Anything
and
else?
the overture is really long.
I kind of like the overture. I don't like the length of the
The
overture.
overture is
It's not even the movie; it's a prelude to the movie.
in the digital age where you could literally just skip it.
Everything. Yeah.
It's not a problem.
Yeah, I know.
Can I point out in real life, like we sat and watched the overture because why not? It's 4 hours. We're already investing all this time. But when the intermission came up, we were all really hungry. We paused it, got food, came back, then skipped the intermission to hit play. I think, if anything, we took a spiritual intermission to go get food.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
honored as if we watched it, as if we sat and just listened to music that whole time. So,
And you know what? I mean, they did. It's not like they made this movie with the intent of later on in the future you'd be able to pause movies.
right.
They didn't know you could do that.
Because, like, when it comes to watching these best pictures, I do want to just sit through and watch them best as possible. I want to absorb it all as the way they intended. But if we're 2 hours into the 4 hour movie and I'm starving and the intermission is right now, this is the point where I would in the theater go out into the lobby, buy concessions, come back or
Exactly.
something. So
Exactly.
the digital
Was
version,
our intermission a little bit longer?
an hour and a half.
To be fair, at the same time, I mean, the theater could have paused the movie to be have a longer intermission.
Very
too.
true.
You know,
Also,
we don't know.
the
No, most
restaurant
theaters had 15-minute intermissions.
and the restaurant
fair.
was like 20 minutes away, so
That's
factor
fair.
that in. It is what it is.
That's
but
fair.
we had a great
And
time.
it gave us time to digest that first half.
And
while
digest the
we digested
food.
with our
I was
stomachs.
about to say literally digest and figuratively digest. But yeah, we had a great time. I think that's exactly the perfect way to do it. Like most 4 hour movies have an intermission.
Yeah,
Sure.
Like,
so out of 10.
Oh,
We
you're
haven't
re-
talked about the movie at all.
You're ready to just go into that?
I will say it with confidence, but we'll get there when we get
Yeah,
there.
we'll get there.
We were just talking about how great of a time we had. I'm like, all right, guys, sounds like we're wrapping up out of 10.
Overture slaps. The music, the score slaps of the whole movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
won best score of a
And-
drama/comedy for a reason.
And you know what? It knows when to use music. There's not music at all during the chariot race, which
Good!
is the best part of the movie. It probably would have been ruined by having music because you would have drowned out like the horses.
Yep.
And
you
I
know
think
what?
that's great.
There are plenty of situations where a lot of movies, especially in the 50s,
Yep.
would have like a character entrance or reveal and the horns just go bum bum bum.
Like, you talk about Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Yes, exactly. But there's that scene after the chariot race when he's all beaten up waiting for him to show up. And then Ben-Hur finally shows up and he's like, "See, I told you he'd come." And he's that silhouette shot.
In the
It's
doorway.
a gorgeous
Oh.
shot in the doorway with the shadows covering him. He puts down the crown slowly. A worse movie would have been like bum 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 bum. He's here, la la la. But they just keep it silent and they slowly let him enter the scene.
Yeah.
And I think that is so powerful to go off of what you're saying, where like they don't use it when they shouldn't, and it's great.
And
good.
to piggyback on this, movies that tell you how to feel with the music are intrinsically worse than movies that let you digest what's happening and form your own feelings about it. One of the biggest things about this movie, like you did just say, is its use of silence in these serious moments. So
Yep.
the use of silence so you don't miss out on the chariot race. The Foley and noises of the chariot race is excellent. What this movie does do really well is during certain scenes, like the boat scene where you have to do beating on the drums, they have the music playing in the background and he's beating with the beat. And when the soldiers are showing up in Judea at the beginning and there's the epic war
Yep.
rise and rise, this movie uses the soundtrack to its advantage to help build up epic proportions and uses the silence to help build up epic proportions.
Yeah.
It knows when to do and when not to do. It's very intelligently scored.
It is.
I love how we haven't even gotten off the subject of the score because I have even more to say about this one small detail. I love when it's on the boat where he's like, okay, normal speed, and they do the drum, doom,
And the
doom,
music is
doom.
going along with it. They're
The
doing
soundtrack
the doom.
in the background
Yep.
matches the tempo, and then he's like, attack speed, doom, doom, doom.
And the soundtrack speeds
Yep.
up a little bit.
Ramming speed, and then it's just the maximum soundtrack. But like the way it works is like it's always in sync with the actor hitting the drums and forcing the slaves to do the oar movements. It always syncs up perfectly. And it does crescendo when he says, all right, the fucking rest or whatever. We all rest, and it just zoom, dies down.
And then you hear the waves crashing against the boat. And
Like literally, you look at that scene and you say to yourself, like, sure, there's a little bit of like character work going on, but there's no plot, there's no like story beat. It's just here to develop a little bit of Ben-Hur and his relationship for later.
with Arius.
Arius is his name. Yep. So him adopting him as his son later on in the movie when he saves him. It's just there to build the characters, but what the scene does for like 5 or 10 fucking minutes is just build and release tension.
Yep.
And it's like, holy shit! No wonder the movie's 4 fucking hours. It spends 10 minutes doing this, and you don't hate any minute of it.
You don't care. And you made an excellent point with building tension. This movie knows how to build dramatic tension excellently through character work and through soundtrack and through cinematography. Like all of the aspects help build the tension in this movie.
Usually when a movie's like 4 hours, Snyder cut, you should probably cut some things out to improve it. I feel like if you start cutting Ben-Hur, it gets worse. I feel like if you shorten Ben-Hur to like 3 hours or 2.5, it's like way less good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're missing out those scenes of incredible tenseness between Ben-Hur and Arius when they get in the ship at first, between Ben-Hur and Masala anytime that they're on screen together after he doesn't agree to Masala's wishes, between him and Esther when he figures out what happens. All of those long, tense moments end up making you feel. So if you start cutting things, I feel like that's the first thing that people normally cut is some conversation because you need to keep the action. You need to keep those big points of interest in. When the action and big points of interest don't matter without the tension.
Right.
If you cut 10 minutes of Masala and Judah,
Sorry.
what you're fucking missing during the chariot scene is all of that tension.
Yeah.
You just go, oh, these guys kind of don't like each other.
Dude.
Instead of the vitriolic, cathartic feeling that you're getting and that incredible, like those moments of, ooh, shit.
Dude, that chariot scene is a payoff to a lot of what happened in the past 3 hours of movie
Yeah.
you just watched. Like, it's so effective in that regard. Like, if you just like watch cold the chariot scene, you can watch it and go, wow, this is very technically well done, well made, very cool. But you're not on the edge of your seat the same way as if you watched the movie prior because you're invested in everything that's happening.
Can I make a quick point about like kind of another negative with the film?
Uh-oh.
I know it's very rare negatives with Ben-Hur, but there's that scene after the chariot race where Ben-Hur, where Judah and Esther are talking about possibly having a future together, but at one point she's like, "You're becoming just like Masala," and I didn't really understand what she was saying by that. Like, what she's saying to me makes no sense. She says that you basically changed.
May I?
Nothing, at least from me, real quick, nothing from my perspective, he hasn't really changed. He's just trying to do what he thinks is best.
Well,
but that
From what I gathered about that, Judah at the beginning of the movie is very loyal. He's very trusting. He's very devout, and he's all for his own people. It's love, compassion, and loyalty over, let's say, Masala's ideals, which are war, conquer, the glory of Rome. His journey throughout Judah's journey, pronouns, takes him down a path of vengeance, almost like a power trip towards later on when he finally gets what he wants, but it's not enough. I feel like that hatred still swelling in him is what she's inferring when she's talking about him being like Masala. He's lost the compassion, the loyalty, like the pride that he had for everything, and it all became like a vengeance tour.
I I'm sorry. I think I have to disagree with that. His whole journey was to, as soon as he got like off the boat, you know, his whole idea was just to go back to his home and to like meet up with people that were still there to see if they were okay. His goal was to see his mother and his sister again.
He did swear vengeance on Masala so long as
Yeah.
he lived and breathed. Though.
Because
Like,
they yeah, sure, but they also tortured his mom, sister, and the
yeah.
Esther and her father.
Can I also
Just her
make?
father,
I just
not
want to
her.
make a point too.
Oh,
like
fair.
this is kind of. I don't want. It doesn't like go on.
He doesn't
either.
know that though until
No, she mentions that
no,
he was
no.
tortured.
He doesn't know that until he finally does get back and see her again.
Yeah.
I just want to make a point too that doesn't support or not support either of your arguments. I just want to say that like it's kind of worth noting here. Masala is basically what you just described Ben-Hur to be, which is a man who, you know, conventionally you'd think is like a normal good man, but he's making the decision that he feels he has to be a little bit more immoral and vindictive in a way to get what he needs to do and do what he's right. Because Masala's whole thing is like, yeah, you know, we're friends since childhood. I love your family and stuff. But if you're going against Rome, you're going against Rome. We're going to be enemies. That's the ultimatum he gave Ben-Hur.
Yep.
And Ben-Hur in that situation is like, then I have to choose to be your enemy. So I think really it comes down to like Masala being so hell-bent on trying to become an important Roman Empire figure and being so elitist and, what's the term where you're like very about your country?
Nationalist.
He's trying, thank you. He's trying to be very nationalist in that regard and move up the ranks at the sacrifice of his friendship and relationship with Ben-Hur
And his
family.
humanity almost.
Right. So
You
in
know?
a way,
We
I
still
think-
get glimpses of his humanity.
right, and I
We
think what Esther,
That's why I said almost.
right, and I think what Esther was referring to is that Ben-Hur, instead of nationalism, is starting to go down that road with vengeance against Masala. Because he's starting to lose the person that he kind of is in order to pursue this like righteous, you know, kind of vengeance and stuff like that. So I think in that regard, that's what she was referring to. That's what I got away from the movie. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
relevant, but
But I can feel that.
that's what I took away from that scene. So I want to mention a couple more things too. I already said that it's a 4-hour movie where I'd cut nothing, which is incredibly rare. I don't really think there is a 4-hour movie where I'd cut nothing. I haven't seen one yet.
Bridge on the Request pretty long. I wouldn't.
Is that 4? I don't think
It's
4.
over 3.
Oh, Return of the King. Never mind. That's the second one. It's also a Best Picture winner.
Nah, I'd cut them walking.
No, I refuse to cut any of the walking. It's important. No, I want to say that Charlton Heston, his presence on screen is always strong. Like,
You know who's one of my favorite actors ever? Like,
the star of Planet of the Apes, Charlton Heston.
yeah.
Yeah, no, he deserved this fucking Best Actor win.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
This is exactly his for that reason.
Yep.
He's amazing.
100%. His character and every character in this movie, for the most part, is so good that every single time anyone is on screen together, they have instant natural chemistry and they're amazing.
Whether it's the scene where he's like killing himself with the oar trying to go in the boat, or he's at the chariots, or it's like a tender kind of like solemn kind of romantic scene with like Esther, or if it's like his mother, or if it's like a normal slow pace, or if it's like just him like politically kind of like one-upping Masala when he comes back for the first time, is like, you know his ring, right? And stamps the thing. Like any of those scenes, he just bleeds charisma.
Yeah,
You
he does.
buy it, and
He
it's
does.
so good.
And that he is one of the best at just like disappearing into a role and becoming the character.
I wouldn't have said this before Ben-Hur, but I agree. Because
I would, because I've seen him in like 4 other things where I love him.
well, I've only seen him in The Apes and then Silicon Valley, fucking Soylent Green. I've only seen him in those two.
We
things.
watched him in the Best Picture winner. He's in Greatest Show on Earth.
Oh, for
He's
like
the main character.
yeah, I forgot about
He's
that.
great in that too.
I
We
wouldn't-
complimented him.
We did. I just wouldn't call that like a legendary type of.
No, but he was
performance, like,
really good still.
Right,
And
he was
he's-
good.
And not for nothing. Planet of the Apes, he's amazing
Oh, he
in
is.
that movie.
He's really good in Apes. I've already had respect, but I've now gained a new level of respect for him.
Yeah, he's
because
phenomenal.
I've never seen Ben-Hur in my life. I've seen the Chariot race.
I also, real quick, to get off Charlton Heston,
How dare you?
this movie has some very ingenious setups.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's the part where he saves the captain from drowning, and they're like floating on that raft.
Yep.
And the captain looks at his toe and sees that Judah has leprosy, or at least starting to form leprosy on
Yep.
his toe. And it's revealed later that his mother and his sister, they have leprosy, even though nobody has any idea how they got it.
Yep.
Judah probably doesn't even know that he gave it to them.
Right.
But we see that as an audience, and we go, "Oh my God!" It's like it's like a form of dramatic irony that, Judah is causing them all this pain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it never developed in him, but developed in them.
Right. And I think I love that bit of irony because, like,
Yeah.
how on earth could the medical scientists of 2,000 years ago have ever predicted that his fucking toe lump would have been the leprosy that he implied anyway gave to them?
Yep.
Like, there's fucking science was shit 2,000. Science was shit 200 years ago.
Science was shit 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Their plan to save Masala after being trampled by horses
Cut off his legs.
was to cut off his legs.
Now, to be fair, he probably would never walk again.
That's fair.
That's fair. But, like, if that happened in, like, 2022, they could probably give him some drugs and prosthetics or
Yeah.
something, and he could walk again in, like, a few months, maybe a few years, depending on what kind of occupational therapy he had. But, like, no, in 2,000 years ago, you're fucked. You cut that shit off or you're dead. That's just the reality.
And you're correct. This movie does have a lot of really good setups, not just in the sense of foreshadowing, but in the sense of lines where after, I'm going to go to the same exact scene you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
He saves Arius, and he's just like, so you're going to kill me? And he's like, no, we keep you alive to row this ship. He hit him with the line that Arius said to him not 20 minutes ago.
Yep. Oh, so
That
good.
and the transition in cinematography when they were in the prison going down, that really, really smart transition when they walked through the doorway and then walked back through a different hallway with the torch.
Yep.
Really, really nice. This movie does have some amazing shots. Does some amazing model work.
Absolutely.
I want to point out how cool it is, too, that, like, what's his name? Not Ben-Hur. The guy.
Masala.
Asala?
Masala.
No. The guy he saved in the boat.
Quintus Arius.
Arius. Okay, so I want to point out how
Right? I think
Arius.
it's
Yeah,
Quintus
you're
Arius.
right.
Okay, so Arius, I really like the idea that Arius was about to kill himself because he thought he was losing. He basically was losing it from his perspective, and he was going to, like, end his own life for the honor of Rome. Another thing that Ben-Hur, defying the honor of Rome for what he believes is the right thing, hearkening back to Masala earlier, where he's like, I will not be nationalist for nothing and sacrifice my people for that. So he saves his life. And then that leads to the fact that, like, oh shit, it was a decisive victory for Rome, ends up being. And had Ben-Hur not done the noble thing and saved that man, even though that man wanted to kill himself for nationalism, had Ben-Hur not done that, he would not have been rewarded with
His own freedom.
His own freedom, being adopted, being a chariot racing guy. He would just still be a slave. So, like, the movie rewards him for doing the right thing in a way that is really creative that I literally would not have anticipated. Because when they're on that raft and he's like, no, you rowed the boat, because throwing the line back at him, I was like, what a great end to this story. What a great fuck you to that fucking asshole.
And then it doesn't end.
It doesn't end because that continues, and you're by the 10 minutes later, 20 minutes later, you're like, what a great fucking relationship they have.
Yeah.
What a great character. I'm so glad.
And it makes sense because Arius respected Ben-Hur's work ethic and fortitude despite him being a slave.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Exactly.
He respected the fact he goes, you got fight in you to fight back, but the brain not to do it.
Yeah, that's the best damn line.
And he says, unchain him because he knows
Yep.
that he has a fight in him.
Yep.
And if something bad happens, he would be there.
Yep.
And the best part too is, like, Arius anticipated Ben-Hur, like, jumping out and fighting all the other guys on the other ship, but what he really did was just, in his little moments of getting out to safety, saved as many people off that ship as he possibly could.
Yep.
And that is, like, that, if that doesn't sum up the Ben-Hur character in a heartbeat, I don't know what does.
You know what character that Ben-Hur's character also has a parallel to because of his ability to care for, be loyal, love, and save people? Jesus.
Yep.
I think we even see it. We see the
We
scene
see
where
it.
Jesus.
We see the parallel when Jesus gives him water.
Yep.
At the end, he's giving Jesus
and
water.
And I think because of that, I think the movie is trying to imply that, like, God is leading Ben-Hur onto this path.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's and, like, protecting him by having, even Arius unchain him. I think a little bit of that has to do with, like, I don't know, like, this otherworldly presence that's
I
kind
can
of
feel that.
protecting and guiding him.
Right.
Jake, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Because isn't your favorite book of all time The Odyssey?
Yep.
Do you
up
get
there.
Odyssey vibes from
Very
this?
strong Odyssey
Yes.
vibes.
I don't know if you were gonna mention it, but
It's-
I
it's
got
more-
some very strong
It's
Odyssey
Iliad,
vibes in
Odyssey
here.
together as one big story.
You know what one
Right.
of my favorite things is? You go, Jake, isn't your favorite book of all time the Odyssey? I might like the Odyssey more than Jake, and it's not even my favorite book of all time.
You
That's funny.
bitch! I love the
That
Odyssey
book,
so much.
it's so good.
It's so good.
Well, I just know that it's Jake's favorite.
It's an epic of all epics.
Yep.
Dude, I love the Odyssey. I love Ben-Hur. I love fucking Spartacus and Gladiator.
You
movies
know what
that
needs
also do this.
more recognition? Epics.
Absolutely,
Yes.
The epic is the foundation of all story.
it is.
At the same time, though, I don't know if you should adapt epics because
Why not? We've watched two.
it took 4 hours.
That's not a
Joquin,
problem.
Bridge on the River Kwai is basically just an epic.
I understand that, but it took like 3.5.
Two of my favorite ones are epics.
Well, it depends what you're calling an epic, because I would say something like The Dark Knight, if not the trilogy, is an epic.
At the fair. At the same time, they did just try to remake Ben-Hur,
They did. They did.
and look how well that went.
Well, okay, I wouldn't say remaking it is the problem, because Ben-Hur, A, is a remake, B, is a remake of a remake,
Yeah,
C is a remake of a book, D is a remake of a book of a book.
So what you're saying is the next Ben-Hur remake is gonna be good.
Maybe. I'm saying that...
Statistically.
Okay, I'm saying that...
All right,
a
so the
remake-
Bible's bad, the book is good. The short and the silent are bad, and
Possibly. I haven't seen most
What-
of it.
the Bible's bad. Best-selling book of all time.
What's the pattern
I
here?
would say there isn't a pattern you can connect to the term remake, because a lot of shit is a remake and slaps, and a lot of shit is a remake and sucks.
Yep.
I don't think a remake is the problem.
I think the issue with the new Ben-Hur is how long is it?
Oh yeah, what's the runtime of the new Ben-Hur?
Yeah,
I bet
just
you
tell me the runtime and
It's
I'll
probably
tell you.
2 hours and blows.
Hang on, before you do it, Ian, guess. I'm gonna say 2:30.
No, I'm gonna say like maybe above 2 hours, barely.
2:30.
Like 2:12.
Ooh, I would. Wait, Ian, you gotta pick a finite number, because I'm
2:12.
I'll pick 2 hours even, just to spice things up. This movie is 2 hours and 3 minutes. Wow.
Yeah. You want to know why this movie wasn't as good?
Because it's
That's an
half as
hour and a
long.
half less character development,
They
because
cut
you
it
know
in
they kept
half.
in the shitty action.
Okay.
And the action's probably worse.
All right, I want to
Actually,
talk
probably
about.
is worse.
We'll talk. What we're gonna do? We're gonna let the cat out of the bag here.
Because the action in this movie, I'm just going to keep going
Keep
real
going.
quick. The action in this movie is great. The
is.
chariot scene is one of the best scenes in cinema all time.
I agree. I agree completely. I think the chariot scene. Yes, I was just mentioning earlier. The build-up is what makes the chariot scene so great.
But the chariot
also,
scene itself.
in isolation. Oh my god, the chariot scene, the stunt work, some of which is planned, a lot of which is not planned, because people get injured. Charlton Heston, your main star, gets fucked up.
At the same time, that can't happen today. That literally
Yes,
Absolutely.
it can. Tom Cruise broke his leg on the last fucking.
Okay, Tom Cruise
Mission
is a maniac.
Impossible.
Tom Cruise is a maniac.
He's crazy.
Okay, but it can happen.
99 out of 100 actors are not going to go that far. They are going to use stuntmen.
Joquin,
And at the same time, the stuntmen have way more protections now than they did in 1959.
I'll take it a step further. Unless you have the financial and clout power of someone as high as Tom Cruise in the A-list ring, the studios will not let it happen.
Absolutely.
The studios are the ones controlling the money, and they're like, no, I'm not gonna spend fucking millions of bucks to risk killing an actor or injuring seriously an actor. That's just not gonna happen. We're either gonna get a stuntman who's very trained and safe to do it, or we're just gonna CGI it because it's cheap and easy.
It's cheaper. It's safer.
It's safer. There's nobody
The
gets
only
injured.
thing that's at risk is the animator's thumbs.
the carpal tunnel they're gonna get. from
One of
doing
the
it.
things about this movie that I really, really love and respect, and a lot of the older movies in general, listen, as much as I love CGI is a fucking cop-out for action. I'm just going to say it.
I'll say that it needs to be used when it needs to be used.
Yep, it's a cop-out. Like, if you are filming this movie and you make the chariot scene and you use CGI for a bunch of stuff, is it going to be as good? Never.
Honestly, never. Because a lot of, I'll admit, when watching this movie, a lot of what made me go, holy shit, was the fact that people actually were risking, if not actually getting a hurt.
And it looked real. It looked amazing. It was phenomenal.
There were
even the boat scenes. I know they're models when you look on the outside, but when you look on the inside and the fights and the grandeur,
there's something effective about throwing a dummy under 4 horses and letting them trample it.
Yep.
Because when you cut it with somebody actually falling in real life,
this was flawless.
your brain says, holy shit, that guy's dead.
The editing in this movie made it flawless. Like, flat out.
Yep.
And one of the things that I appreciate so much, they had all of the extras. Flood the ship, start fighting, just sword fight, sword fight, sword fight. You do that with CG, it just feels so bland
It does. I think.
and lifeless.
I only sort of agree with you. I think a big part of why it feels bland and lifeless today is if you're trying to go for realism with CG, we're not quite there yet.
We're not.
I don't even know if
No, but you
I
can-
don't even know if we'll get there.
I
That's
will-
one point. That's one point. The second point is it is a huge part of the storyboard artists to make those scenes engaging. And if they're not like hiring good artists to do that, you're not going to have that happen.
I know.
You're just not going to. It's not I don't think it's impossible
No,
to
not at all.
reach a scene like it I don't know if another Ben-Hur movie in like 20 years tries to achieve the Chariot scene with the same grace and fidelity that this incarnation of Ben-Hur does. I do think it's possible. It's probably going to be hard, but it all depends. You got to just get the right people, and they got the right people for this because you could have made this bad.
Oh, 100%.
You could have easily had made this bad. Charlton Heston got hurt, but he didn't die, thank God. But it's lucky that no one died in a scene like that.
Yep.
100%.
People were getting literally knocked off of horses.
And I think the stunt, which Ian mentioned when we did the intro, but the stunt that was supposed to happen was Charlton Heston was supposed to go up this ramp and land back in the Chariot. And Heston overshot it, so his body went further than the Chariot, and you saw his leg like dangle on as his whole body dangled off.
Yep.
And that's the one insert shot Ian mentioned where it got a shot of a different plate and a different day of Heston crawling back into the Chariot because he literally fell out of the fucking Chariot because he was like about to die. So like there's some incredible shit, and yeah, I think we're all in agreement here that like studios don't really let that shit happen today.
No.
Because why would they? Like there's just no
A
way.
lot of the accidents that happen in movies that are genuine are smaller injuries that you can't foresee.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I think it's Aragorn kicking the helmet
Yeah, where he broke his foot.
where he broke his foot.
they kept
You
it
can't
in.
fucking foresee that. That's a freak accident. You can break your foot kicking anything.
But I love that they had the respect to use that footage.
Well,
I
because
love that.
it's a genuine scream.
It's a genuine scream. and-
DiCaprio cutting his hand open when he breaks the glass. He wasn't actually supposed to break the glass, was he?
No, in Django, when he smashes the glass
Yep.
and he's doing that monologue.
He's supposed to hit the table. I think he overshot.
He overshot. He made himself bleed, and the actors kind of froze, unsure what to do. But he stayed in character and finished the monologue.
Yep.
Like, the way it comes down is like when an actor gets injured on set or something like that, and you catch it on film.
Sometimes you have freak accidents.
Sometimes you have accidents, and if the actor's okay with it, I think the correct thing to do is use it.
100%.
Because if they injured them, if they broke their fucking leg or whatever, to not use the shot where they broke their leg, I mean, if I were that actor, I'd be fucking pissed. I'd be like, dude, of all the shots,
Unless
one
the
where-
shot's so flubbed up.
no other shot injured
Oh
me
yeah,
like
like
that one.
if I start, I mean, like if let's say you break your leg, right, or you do something and your leg's now removed.
Oh Jesus!
I think it's more important to
Okay.
worry about the leg.
I think, well, yeah, obviously the priority is safety. I'm never going to dispute that. But let's assume that, like, I don't know, because like Tom Cruise broke his foot in Mission Impossible 5 or 6, and what happened was they used that clip A in the movie, but B in the trailer. And you saw in the trailer him jump to the building, and he misses the building because he's supposed to land perfectly on top, and he kind of hit it at an angle. And you see his leg like bend in a way a leg's not supposed to bend in the trailer, and that's definitely Tom Cruise going, "Ow, my foot! Oh, that's a sick shot. You better use it." You know what I mean?
Right,
That's
exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing he's into. So that's awesome. I love the Chariot scene.
Yeah.
I think Ian's right. It is one of the best of all time scenes in any movie.
And
I'll say it.
I'm not shitting on CGI at all. I just 98% of the time it just feels more lifeless. There are movies that really do use it to effect and make you go, okay, wow, this feels real.
Can I also say
Like
that
100% real.
CGI? You were mentioning that, like, Joaquin, you were mentioning that we're not there yet. We're not there yet with human beings. I think there's a lot like
We're not there yet at all.
no
No.
cars are flawless.
No.
Really, because I'm
No.
sure if I show you a couple scenes where there's some CG cars and some real cars, you probably couldn't tell the difference.
Sure, but the fact that I could possibly tell a difference means that we're not there yet.
There is even a 1% chance we have taken us an absolute certainty we have to destroy Superman.
It means it's
Why did you say that?
it's the sad, honest truth, though. I mean,
Joe, I agree, actually. I don't think we're quite to the level.
when we think we're there, 10 years goes by, and we're like, damn, that was bad. We watch Avatar now, and that shit is...
It's par.
It's hideous.
I disagree
It's
strongly.
par.
I
It's
disagree
on par
strongly.
with good
It's hideous.
CGI now, right? For the time, it was excellent. Right now, it's like, oh, that's on par.
I think Avatar still holds up in an incredible way.
I think it's hideous. I think it is a massive fucking eyesore, and that CG is really distracting.
Avatar's
how
a
bad
bad
it is.
example because it's technically not emulating things that in real life, like a car. for
Sure,
example.
Yeah.
but at the same time, the stuff that is meant to be like realistic, like let's say the General's mech, that looks really
Even
bad.
then, I don't run around with mechs every day. Like I don't know what the hell that looks like.
No, but we know what metal looks like.
No, but I'm talking like specifically like a car. We've seen shitloads of cars every single day. Like,
Sure.
that's something that our eyes are automatically an expert on.
Sure.
So, like in the new Bond movie, No Time to Die, a lot of the cars were replaced because of practicality. The roads were replaced because what happened was in shots where they keep the car, they swapped out the roads because they kept doing the take over and over again, and there were skid marks on the roads from the previous takes they had to remove.
That's interesting.
That's fascinating, right? But the fact that we watch the movie, we don't think about, oh, it's a CGI road. You just go, wow, what a great action scene.
Well, it's really easy to CGI a still road.
Right. Well, when you're not looking for it.
Yeah.
But also, I went back and watched and looked for it. They look like a normal fucking road.
Yeah, it's a
Like-
still road. It's easier to CGI stuff that's not moving.
Right. My point is,
Yeah.
there are ways to do it where it is flawless. It's
Yeah.
just with humans, the human face is the ultimate goal, and we're just not there.
Not even close.
Not
yeah.
even close.
We get closer and closer with every year, I will say. I think
Sure.
the most recent I can think of is the Book of Boba Fett had Luke Skywalker again, and it looks better than he did in Mandalorian.
We can keep scraping at it, but I don't think we'll get there.
I think we might get close, but
I
that's
think-
We every time we say we get close, we give it another 10 years, and we're still not there, and everything from before looks like shit.
well,
No,
what
but
about
in that 10 years, we get even closer. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Okay,
So,
but it's a never-ending cycle, though.
well,
Until it ends.
We've never gotten
It's
there.
never going
My
to
point is,
end.
we've never gotten there.
And my point is, it'll never end.
Okay, well,
the costume design in this movie is phenomenal.
Also, you gotta worry about to talk about this movie real quick about the chariot scene. I don't know if you guys still want to watch it, but I still really want to watch the 2016 chariot scene to see what it does, if it even scratches.
It's gonna be like heavy action, drums.
I'm
All
thinking shaky cam.
all right.
Oh!
Let's just. I'm gonna put this up on screen, and we're just gonna commentate over it. You ready? Let's just watch Ben-Hur 2016's Chariot race. It's like 10 minutes long. I'm sure it's equally as good as the previous Ben-Hur.
All right, let's
I'm
do
not
it.
gonna like any of it.
I'm gonna lower it.
Shaky cam.
A Dutch angle.
Yep.
Shaky cam, Dutch angle.
Just
fo-
shaky
rack
cam
focus.
Dutch angle that they just literally put the camera on the floor and tilted.
Oh, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out! Really?
Yep.
We told you. We
I
told
forgot
you
about it
Freeman.
already.
Now to be
CGI
fair,
background.
Yep. Replaced people. Real people for the close-up shots, and then all replaced for zooming out. Very shaky cam.
Very shaky.
Quick cuts.
And I think it's fake shaky cam too. I think it's like
fakey cam. Get out of here.
Really,
Even worse.
really quick cuts too. Holy shit.
Oh, he did the hell of a
Yep.
pilot kid.
Yep. Very cool.
They talk. Don't like that.
Why are
Don't
they
talk.
communicating?
Don't
This should
talk.
not be a conversation.
To be fair, no music, but the cameras they're using, they're
They're not getting good angles.
They're not getting good angles, and the FOVs real. It looks like a GoPro camera that they're using, which makes no fucking sense. It's not consistent with like how the rest of this film looks, or I guess the rest
How it
of the.
feels.
There are shots that
Right.
changed what type of cameras they're using depending on
Stop
the shot.
talking.
I know. I don't care what the conversation is. I don't want a
I
conversation.
don't want the conversation.
It's better without a conversation.
It is. It's more intense. You visually understand the story.
Also, no white horses.
No, there's one. The Ben-Hurs are white.
Ben-Hur's horses were white.
Yeah. That at least they kept that.
Look at this. This
What
is like
the
I put a
fuck?
GoPro on my forehead.
That is not a real shot in the movie. No way. Somebody just
That
filmed
didn't
that.
feel epic.
No.
too.
No, that felt like shit. And then why is the king dude concerned? This is so weird. Like I
Yeah.
feel like this.
Oh, okay. Okay. They are white.
And the thing is, they're also taking so much from Ben-Hur that it doesn't feel like they're adding anything to it.
No.
They're also cutting away from this too much. The cutaways don't feel deliberate.
Look, that's the same fucking shit Zack Snyder does, where it's shaky cam and then they'll zoom in.
Yep.
Shaky cam punch-ins.
Yep.
Yep, yep,
God
yep.
damn it. Man of Steel does the same fucking shit.
Yes, because it's a bad film.
Got him. I hate
It's
these
the,
shots.
I'm telling you,
I
it's
hate
like the
them.
The shot selection
the
sucks.
cameras are different, and the FOV is just uncanny.
Who
They
directed
don't
this?
make for impressive shots.
Who
And you
directed this film?
CGI.
Every time it goes to one of the actors.
CGI. Holy shit, bad CGI too.
Well, okay, so
Oh
every
my
time it
God.
cuts to one of the actors up close, you just know that they're on like a plate, like a background.
Yeah.
They're not actually out there.
Timur Bekmambetov.
We don't get wide zoom outs either of like the whole track. That's one thing that the original film did.
I think
Is
Ian
it-
found something.
He directed Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Feels like it.
Oh,
Feels like it.
And Wanted!
Oh my god, that explains so much.
Wasn't Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter like one of the first digital movies that like went to theaters?
Maybe?
Was this all digital?
It feels digital.
It feels digital because they're using GoPros.
I'm so fucking happy I googled that.
I'm uploading my brain.
What a shit film. I don't like it.
I would not if they made the trailers based off this.
I
I'm telling
hate that.
you,
I hate that.
I don't even know if the frame rate's the fucking same. It looks wrong.
They probably changed like shot to shot frame rates. Wow, what a very convincing real shot. Why did you hit the tripod?
They
Oh.
made it more epic
It's
Well,
not
by doing this.
It's not.
This is cool and modern and relevant.
This is like the people behind Hardcore Henry made a movie. They made a Ben-Hur adaptation.
I didn't mind Hardcore Henry actually.
It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick movie.
I'm glad it was short. If it was too long, I
Fair.
would have hated it. Oh my god, this is.
What was that there for? A jump scare?
No, it's cool.
It's
You couldn't even
not.
tell what happened. It just wiped frame.
Yeah, this is infinitely less good. It doesn't
You
feel like
can't
a
even-
race
yeah,
because
you
you
can't-
never see a long,
You
a
can't
wide
track
angle.
Right.
the. You
There's
can't
no
track
frame of
the
ref-
action either.
Right, there's no frame of reference.
Yeah.
They keep cutting like close, far, and there's no like.
No, it's just close crowd
Yeah.
guy.
You
Morgan
knew.
Freeman, like
You always knew who was in first place.
in Ben-Hur,
And-
yeah,
yeah. Well, not this one.
not this one.
Not this Ben-Hur. The other Ben-Hur.
this is bad. Her. Why is the king talking?
The king. Yeah, shouldn't talk.
This
He
is
can-
so weird.
He's rooting for
Oh,
Masala.
music, by the way.
Yep. It kicked in. I couldn't tell because it was so generic.
He's very generic.
They're focusing too much on things that don't matter. What
Exactly.
matters is the interaction between Masala and Judah, and they're focusing too much on race cool.
This blows, dude. This is horrible. Yeah, keep yelling. That'll help.
Is that Zachary Levi?
No, it's Morgan Freeman.
No, that guy that looks like Zachary Levi, but
Why
isn't
are
Zachary
they just
Levi.
letting horses run the opposite direction? Why would the horses run the opposite direction? Holy cartoon.
Yeah.
It's fucking oh, is that a real shot?
No, that was CG.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
whoa, oh, I feel like I'm really there.
Oh my god, you gotta be shitting me. I've seen like car commercials with better CGI.
I don't want to watch more. I actually want to turn it off.
All
We're
right.
not even we're halfway through and I want it off.
Oh my god, there's still more.
This is the opposite of the Chariot scene from the last one where I never wanted it to end.
5 minutes, 50 seconds in. That's it.
Yep.
That's enough. Holy
I
shit, that
can't
was
watch
bad.
more of that. It's
No,
abysmal.
It's abysmal.
Wow.
Absolutely.
We made it halfway through that fucking scene. We couldn't get through it.
And we had nothing but complaints. What is there anything that we saw there that is a
Morgan Freeman.
bona fide improvement over?
And
He's a
improvement.
black guy playing a black guy.
You know what?
Yes, absolutely. Morgan Freeman is actually black.
But we don't know if he's good in the movie.
I thought you were gonna say we don't know if he's black.
Timur Bekmambetov, retire.
Oh my god, dude, that's crazy.
You made Wanted. I don't hate Wanted. It's funny.
That's so funny. That's ridiculous, man.
That was bad.
Okay. Wow.
He produced 9.
I'm so glad the Chariot scene, the good one, exists, so I can know that it's awesome and rewatch it all the time. Back to Ben-Hur, the good one. The sets are spectacular.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like Ian, you read a lot of fun facts earlier, but like the way and the extent they went to build a lot of these sets.
They
for real,
refurbished old sets
They did.
from other movies to use for this movie.
there were so many sequences where like obviously the Chariot where you got like shitloads of people in there, but like even just like the smaller scenes where like there's a backdrop and it's a painting far away and there's a lot of like real actual trees and shrubbery around them. That all
The
worked.
paintings looked great.
Paintings
The
looked
paintings
great.
looked great. The models for the boats looked great.
Yep, they were all
This
convincing.
movie, like, the costume design is immaculate. Everyone is distinct. I'm not like, oh, is this guy because they're wearing the same. You even knew which Roman soldier was the most important because his head wasn't a broom, it was floofy.
Floofy, very important.
Okay. Also, in relation to the sets,
Okay.
the rear projection was kind of weird. The humans had drop shadows, and I know that's just a limitation of the time, but I feel like even other movies that we've seen, like even something like Around the World in 80 Days, had better ways of masking that, if it even had it at all.
I am going to counter with this was basically in 4K. That wasn't.
That doesn't matter.
Can I also
That
say,
I'm sorry, but that doesn't matter.
like, when it comes to like matte paintings and rear projection of the time, it's the kind of thing where like it never took me out of the movie or detracted from the movie for me. Like, technically, sure, we've come a long way.
I see it and I'm like, oh, that's kind of, that could be done better. Even at the time, I think that could have been done better. At the same time, in relation to the lighting, we never see Jesus' face, and they hide it in very creative ways.
I love that.
Including using lighting.
And they use shadows. They use top of the head. We barely see like the tip of his nose.
Yep.
They show him from the back from most of the scenes. Like,
Yep.
we see his face, but we don't see his face.
I
Right.
love that. I think there's a really nice charm to that. And towards the end of the movie, which one of you wanted to see his face? Was it you?
No, I don't
No,
think
I
any of
said
us
don't
would.
show his
I
face.
said I wouldn't be pissed, but I prefer if they didn't.
Okay, yeah, I'm in the camp of I've figured they've gone 3.5 hours with not showing it. I think they've already doubled down and tripled down. Like, I really don't think. I think if they were to show it, it's like, well, why didn't you show it then and then and then? So I'm kind of glad they held through all the way to the end. I think if anything, it's more powerful because the 2 times Ben-Hur directly interacts with him, he looks at Jesus's face that we don't see, and you get this like sense of like enlightenment. Like, oh my God, who am I looking
I
at?
see it as you can put anybody you want here.
Yes.
Right. That's a big part of it. Too.
I think it's another thing with like the religious influence. Obviously, it's fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But you can put anybody you want here,
Yep.
and it will still be as powerful as it is for a character like Ben-Hur in that situation. So, yeah,
yeah.
it's fucking incredible.
I used to say that I hated all movies that are like overtly religious because they pander. This is like one of the only examples of a genuinely good movie that happens to be faith-based.
Last Temptation of Christ as well.
Last
was
Temptation is
phenomenal.
pretty great too. But like you look at like stuff like God's Not Dead and all those
Passion
movies.
of the Christ is ass.
I haven't seen it, but a lot of the movies from Pure Flix are just there to pander and create propaganda.
Exactly.
And it's horrible,
They
and I
don't
hate it.
try.
They don't
This
try.
movie has a positive message about religion while not being just overtly about the religion.
Yeah, you could watch this movie as not a religious movie at all. It could just be about religious characters.
It's just a great
But there
movie.
are good life lessons to be learned in
Yes,
this movie.
and they are faith-based, but that doesn't make them bad.
faith-based is exactly.
And I also want to say, like, this is also the kind of movie that's like so damn good. But one of the reasons it's good is because no matter what you believe in, the audience, it doesn't matter because you're here to enjoy a good movie and you get one.
Yes.
Like the point of the movie, towards the end, you can say, "Oh, Jesus is great," but like that's not really what the movie was trying to go
Exactly.
for anyway.
They didn't go up to the Romans and were like, "Yeah, your gods are all stupid. Jesus is the one true God."
Wow,
anything-
are you Middle Eastern? I bet you beat your kids for listening to Christian music. That's from God's Not Dead.
Exactly. Now, wow, there were Middle Eastern people in this movie, and the Sheik gave Ben-Hur the Star of David as a good luck charm in the race.
Right, and dude, there's other scenes, like, if anything, you want to talk about it being a great movie and not forcing this message down your throat. Arius, the guy he saved, he didn't say it because that wasn't really a thing 2,000 years ago, but he lost his idea of religions in a way. Like,
did.
he's saying, like, hey, the gods aren't going to save you. Gods aren't going to do anything with me to you or you to me. Like, there's no point.
But right after he went, I guess your God didn't just help you, he also helped the Roman Empire. Acknowledging that, yes, you believe in this, and wasn't being like all pompous and snooty, like, oh, it was me and my. He was like, maybe you got a point. Maybe you don't. I don't know.
I really appreciate
Yeah.
right. That's the depiction of a man who is not inherently a villain because he does villainous things, but also heroic things later.
Yeah.
But this man who has a real confliction about what he believes and has already at this point written off
And they
stuff
don't
like that.
they don't shun
don't.
the writers don't shun him for that or make him have a second coming of
Right.
Christ.
Right.
That would have made it
Well, the
so
second
much
coming
worse.
didn't
Worse.
exist yet because it's 26 AD.
No,
but-
like a conversion or something like
Yes,
that.
they kept him religiously ambiguous
Mm-hmm.
and didn't shit on him for.
And if you go to his character arc after Ben-Hur saves him and he adopts him as a son and bestows upon him the titles and stuff like that, that arc he goes through where he like basically regains his humanity doesn't really have anything to do with God. That's so cool.
He's just happy he has a son, quote
Right.
unquote, again.
a surrogate for a son.
Right.
And that's he says it himself.
He's proud of him.
Yep.
This is exactly what I wanted my son to have. Yeah.
I want to talk about the character chemistry again.
Yes.
Because when you first get introduced to Masala and Ben-Hur, they have such great happy camaraderie that we understand how they feel about each other immediately. They're happy. They were like brothers.
Yeah.
And the fact that Masala got mad and ingy and ruined their entire relationship, you feel that the second it happens just by the way Charlton Heston looks at him.
And I love that you only finally get an explanation as to why Masala is so vindictive to his old friend when he's holding the spear to him about to kill him in his office. And he basically admits, like, if I do this to you and your family, they will see me as, like, someone not to fuck
yep.
with. And I will gain that respect and that fear.
Absolutely a dick.
And, dude, that's like... the way that like he's already made that decision in his mind and no amount of pleading from Ben-Hur to like
He's
honor
calculated, man.
his friendship.
You
my God.
get everything about those characters within the first like 15 minutes we meet them.
And one of
it's
the things
phenomenal.
that's so brilliant is like later on when Esther's like, hey, you know, you're kind of going down the path to become him. What makes Ben-Hur not like him is the fact that he doesn't choose to do exactly what Masala did and go down that road of like hatred and vengeance and pettiness.
If at that point, that was after Masala died, right?
Yeah.
He didn't overtly kill him, but he didn't have that hesitation that he would have had before.
Exactly. And dude, Masala's like whipping him while riding side
Yeah.
by side. Like,
Dude,
damn.
I said, whip him. And he looked over at him, looked back at his whip and went, and then just did it.
He just straight
I'm
up
just
did
like,
it.
yeah.
I love it because he's whipping the horse. He has a moment where he looks at Ben-Hur and he's like whipping the
I can
horses.
fuck with him.
He's like, you know what? Why the fuck don't I just whip Ben-Hur right now?
Yeah. There is so much here to like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's...
From my perspective, it's only things to like. That's
well,
just me.
hold on. You like blackface,
Okay,
Jay?
except for that.
I'm kidding. I know.
Frame me as a racist.
You're being framed? Listen,
no.
if I do this, they'll think I'm not to be fucked with.
Exactly. If I go down this road, baby.
But I was just so excited. Even after the main beef has been settled between Ben-Hur and Masala, I was still excited to watch what happened with him and his family.
Exactly. I think
Because
like,
of how well they set the character work. Any film with good character work is an automatic better film than a film with like good action.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's more important because character work is what makes you care about the action.
It makes everything. You can have a film with the best script in the entire world except the character work, which is part of the script.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what the movie's about. It doesn't matter what your message is. I don't fucking care.
Yep. Absolutely.
I don't care. There are movies that I have not really that many problems with, but the character work. And I'm like, yeah, this is severely... Rogue One, have a problem with the character work. Severely detracts from the movie. It's not that bad, but I just love character work.
But you can't...
This movie has 70 hours of character work,
But
and
you
it's great.
can't love those characters because they're gonna die.
Make me care that they die.
We don't want the audience to be sad.
Make me care. Make me care. I was even mad that Masala died because I cared about him as an asshole. Mm-hmm. I felt bad for him. I genuinely felt bad.
Well, that's because we still saw that he had redeemable human qualities
exactly.
in him. And that's what a good villain should have.
Even Quintus Arius. Were you looking at that guy that was being kind of an asshole, making them row over and over and actively hurting and killing people and going, no, he should save him 100%. Were you mad when he did it? No, because he redeemed himself in the moments of letting him go because he had faith in Ben-Hur.
Dude,
giving Ben-Hur the compliments. Ending up being a really good surrogate father and mentor to him afterward. Like, there's so many deep, intricate levels in all of these characters. Even Esther, who just shows up, and we don't get a lot of what she is. Her father and her, essentially, are Ben-Hur's slaves. Mm-hmm. And we get so much depth in Esther later on in the film. Every character feels so deep as long as they're a semi-main character.
Yeah.
Even some side characters like Sheik that we only really get 15, 20, 25 minutes with feel
even.
deep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because of how well this film goes through and develops the characters.
Right.
The best villains are the ones that you completely understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Yep.
And you maybe not empathize, but you
get it.
But you get it. You just understand, like, okay, this person, this type of character in that position would make these evil choices.
Because it makes them feel human.
Right.
Any three-dimensional. A one-dimensional villain is like, I am doing this because Dalmatians killed my mom.
Yep. Or I'll do you one better. I'm gonna fucking take over the whole world and destroy the Suicide Squad and blow everything up with my Enchantress powers. Done. What was her deeper motivation?
I was
She wants
locked
to fuck
away
Rick
for a
Flag.
little bit.
Like,
She slept with
you know,
Flag.
all right, you know what? Like a film like Black Panther, where you can look at Eric Killmonger and go, wow, this guy's inherently evil. He got a point, though.
He do have some of a point. That is a little bit of a point.
He got a
there.
point, though.
He absolutely has a point. He's not wrong. The way what he was doing was wrong, but the reason why he was doing it wasn't wrong.
Yep.
And that's what we're talking about
Exactly.
These kinds of villains, I'm not being like, oh, I'm a better screenwriter, but like, you're around people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is it to develop a person that has evil intentions?
Do you really think they're like you only know people in your life that are simple and make easy decisions all the time? Like,
Like-
people are fucking complex.
Right.
Everybody is complex.
here. No, I disagree.
Some
I'm
people
not
aren't.
complex.
That's a-
Joquin's evil for the sake of being evil. Joquin's the least complex person I know. No, I'm kidding. But like,
I'm about
seriously,
as
Kill
just
everybody.
observe real life people. Observe real life. Observe like Hitler or something. He had complex motives.
they weren't good.
He wrote a
They
book about
weren't
it.
good, but he had complex motives.
He had
he was evil, the ultimate evil. He had a whole histories of life worth of reasons.
He wrote a book about it.
He did. Are they right? No. All of them are wrong.
The title is My
Every single
Struggle.
last one.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything that man said was incorrect. That being said, still fully complex. Like, you can study real people. You don't have to go, well, why is this? One reason. Really? One reason?
I bet you $1 billion if we watch 2016's Ben-Hur, it will not have a fleshed out villain.
Masala,
Oh,
it's just
God.
like, you've defined a role.
I will give
Then
you
we
$1
get-
million if you don't make us watch 2016's Ben-Hur.
Well, I'm gonna reject that offer.
No!
No, I have
Yeah.
no interest in watching Ben-Hur.
But
2016.
goddamn, every character had so much. I already mentioned the chemistry, but I just want to harp. This movie's script is excellent.
it's pretty
It
good.
really is, and
It
the
is.
director is one of the best.
He is. This is
Hands
one of the
down.
best pictures, which I think, unless we have any more little notes, I'm ready to get to out of 10s.
I think I am too.
Guys,
All right. So
All
out of
right.
10.
Jake, you seemed eager at the beginning of this discussion to just start off with your out of 10. So
Yeah,
why
go
don't you
for it.
go it?
No, Ian said, "How are we feeling out of 10?"
As
5
a
minutes in.
joke.
we were talking like we already talked about everything, which was really funny.
Look, I'm just game to talk about Ben-Hur, man. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
I already said I have no flaw, which automatically that score is going to be a 3 out of 10. No, it's definitely a 10. This is, oh man, it's one of the best I've ever watched. I'll just say that. It's amazing.
I'm reluctant to give it a 10 because
How dare you?
I hate brown and blackface so much.
That's fair. I totally get that. And dude,
That being said, it's a 10.
Oh,
If you're judging the movie solely by its ability of film, it's a 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm feeling about it.
that is fair enough.
That
And-
being
yeah.
said, condemn. Bad.
could have gone without the black.
Could have gone without the blackface.
All
It comes
right,
down to the
guys.
person. It comes down to the person.
All right, guys.
Yeah,
this
some
is-
people love it.
Yeah, that's true. Some people love only the racist parts of Gone in the Wind. So
Yep.
Joquin, can I guess what you're going to say?
go ahead,
I feel like you're going to say 8.
Ian. You were correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good score.
It's a great score.
It's a good score.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I still have my problems with the film. Those
Completely
problems didn't
understandable.
change.
Hey, look, if Joquin was like 2 out of 10, I'd be like, bro, what? But like an 8 is a strong score, so I'm not
think
mad.
anything like 6 and below, I'd be like, bro, are you kidding me? Come on.
It's been fucking her, man.
It's a banger.
It's a banger time.
It's a banger.
It is.
I guess we get to go with our best and worst.
Bridge on the River is still my favorite
Okay.
because it doesn't have rampant blackface.
And what's your least favorite?
GG fucking sucks.
Thank Evan. Thank heaven for Gigi also being my worst. And I'm gonna put. I forget. I really.
I write it down so I remember.
That's fair. The thing is, every week I keep going back and forth between like River Kwai and Casablanca.
Wow, I know
love
which one's better.
Casablanca.
I know which one you think is better.
I'm objectively right always.
Yeah, that's true. Man, I really do like.
I was even
Casablanca.
right about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it with Casablanca.
And what's your worst, Joaquin?
He
All
said
right.
GG already.
GG,
He
all right,
started
bet.
that one.
Gigi's bad.
Thank heaven.
All right. My worst is Cavalcade, as we all know. My best, by a hair, is River Kwai. Ben-Hur is probably my second now. I know that might be recency bias. I might flip it back around to Lost Weekend or Casablanca in the future, but as of right now, it is my second favorite best picture
Yeah,
I've
it's either
watched.
second or third for me as well.
It's fantastic.
And you know what? We just went. I'm just gonna say right now that we just went from Ben-Hur, one of the best ones by one of the best directors, like probably ever, to the next one, which is directed by another one of the best directors ever.
Oh, man. The Apartment? You mean? Oh, man.
Billy Wilder,
I'm excited.
one of the best directors.
Mhm.
And then when we get to Lawrence of Arabia, we go back to David Lean, who's also one of the best directors ever.
Blackface. Just want to point that out. Lawrence of Arabia.
Fuck!
Comes back, baby.
More brown face.
We're not done.
Anywho,
It's the 60s. Stop it.
until then,
Yeah.
Till
we will
then,
see you guys next time.
We will catch you guys next time for
The
The
Apartment.
Apartment.